Oh, so you've always been tough?
Have I been tough? Yeah. I'll say yeah.
Have I been tough? Yeah. I'll say yeah.
Or as I refer to him, Patty.
Submit his resignation immediately.
Calls for Nassau County Police Commissioner Patrick Ryder to resign growing louder.
I don't know if I want to leave. Well, I left, and I left crying like a baby.
We are total transparent. There's nothing to hide.
This is the news article that Commissioner Patrick Ryder was desperately trying to keep a secret. Hey, what's up guys? Long Island Audit here, back again with another video. Today we will be going over a 1990 news article Nassau Police Commissioner Patrick Ryder, aka Patty, aka Psycho, was desperately trying to hide from we the people. I am not going to read the article in its entirety. If you would like to do so, I will leave a link in the description right below the like button. As a uniformed cop in the 3rd Precinct, Patrick Ryder used to spend his lunch breaks up in a tree in Newcastle, spying on drug dealers on nearby street corners and radioing information to his partner in a squad car. One day, fellow officers recall Ryder noticed a dope deal right under his tree, so he decided to drop in, literally. The dealer, stunned at the cop's abrupt entry on the scene, began to yell that Ryder was a psycho, and the name stuck. That was before he was charged with brutalizing a suspect he had already handcuffed. In a case that has drawn the attention of county and police officials, a Nassau grand jury hearing evidence concerning a well-known police officer alleged to have used excessive force while arresting a fleeing suspect. The case has generated controversy because the officer involved is highly decorated plainclothes officer and because a witness in the case complained personally to County Executive Thomas Galuda. The arrest in question took place outside a Merrick bar last month after a fight inside the bar. Several witnesses who will be testifying before the grand jury complained about the force used by Officer Patrick Ryder, who they say chased Walter Zivkovich, 27 of East Meadow, and beat him with his fist both before and after he was handcuffed. Zivkovich, allegedly involved in a fight, was fleeing from a uniformed officer when Ryder jumped out of his unmarked car and pursued him. The witnesses said they called out to Ryder during their arrest, pleading with him to stop hitting Zivkovich. They later complained at the 1st Precinct, which passed the case on to Internal Affairs. Matthew Moreskin, head of the Legal Aid Society of Nassau County, which represents Zivkovich, declined to comment specifically on the allegations, but he noted that few police brutality complaints make it to a grand jury. The fact that this case is being considered by a grand jury suggests that this is more than an idle claim, he said. Moreskin said that the Legal Aid Society has previously complained to Department's Internal Affairs Division regarding Ryder's conduct. The Nassau County Police Department declined to detail any complaints made against Ryder. However, officers familiar with them and an attorney who filed some of them said they include allegations that Ryder brutalized and used racial slurs against people he was arresting. One was a man arrested by Ryder on drug charges who said Ryder threatened to claim that the crack found near the defendant was found in his possession. The defendant said Ryder did not follow through on that threat. Another alleged that Ryder threatened legal aid attorney Kenneth Ross while he was representing a man Ryder had arrested. According to the complaint, another legal aid attorney overheard Ryder and a fellow officer discussing in a courthouse bathroom during trial they were going to, quote, take care of Ross. Ross complained to the judge in court about the threat and filed a complaint with Internal Affairs. The defendant was later acquitted. Neither Ross nor Legal Aid Chief Matthew Moreskin would comment on the complaint. A Mineola lawyer said he has filed at least 3 complaints against Ryder with Internal Affairs and the District Attorney's Office. He said all alleged that Ryder brutalized and made racial comments to his clients in the course of arresting them. While previous complaints brought no action against Ryder, he would face automatic dismissal if convicted of the felonies charged in the Zivkovich case. As he awaits trial, Ryder, who has declined to be interviewed, will work a desk job at Special Operations. He spent his 1-month suspension driving a tow truck doing odd jobs to bring in an income. Police Benevolent Association held a fundraiser for him and collected about $15,000. Now, this article was written 33 years ago, so let's take a look at some recent examples of how Police Commissioner Psycho Patty is still involved in controversies regarding racial slurs and discrimination.
He should submit his resignation immediately.
Calls for Nassau County Police Commissioner Patrick Ryder to resign growing louder. Civil rights and law enforcement organizations are joining forces to demand Ryder step down or be fired.
This type of statements, this type of conduct, and this type of mentality cannot be tolerated in any agency.
Those statements smack of racial insensitivity, and those statements smack of a whole lack of understanding.
Ryder is facing backlash for comments made during an interview with Newsday about why the county has failed to hire more officers from communities of color.
Look, a lot of these kids come from broken homes. A lot of them kids come from struggles in their neighborhood, and they need that advantage. They need someone to push them a little bit.
Ryder has since apologized. Advocates say Commissioner Ryder's comments add to a pattern of failing to acknowledge and confront racial disparities in policing in Nassau.
This is a commissioner who has shown over and over again that he cannot appropriately address the needs of diversity and race in the county of Nassau as the leader of the Nassau County Police Department.
His critics say in December, Ryder was asked in writing about racial disparities in arrests made by Nassau officers and failed to acknowledge the issue, then again at a county legislative meeting last March.
When do someone stand up and say, executive, county exec, it's time to make some changes? This is a leader that we're expecting to foster an improvement in policing in Nassau. There's no way that he can do that.
Several minority community leaders called on County Executive Laura Curran to remove Ryder. The Democrat who is running for re-election released a statement saying, quote, "I do not believe a lack of diversity in law enforcement is tied to family makeup," but added she supports Ryder and the department's diversity efforts. Newsday reached out to Ryder and the Nassau County Police Department for comment, but did not immediately hear back.
Police Commissioner Psycho Patty did apologize for his remarks, but it is my belief he only did so because of the public pressure and calls to resign he was facing. But wait, there's more. According to a lawsuit deposition of a former Nassau County police officer, Psycho Patty used a racial slur to describe a black female officer. I am told by my sources using racial slurs is a normal occurrence for Psycho Patty. Psycho Patty also claimed in an interview he properly vets his new hires.
We also saw the arrest of a couple of Nassau County police officers. How do you deal with that going forward to make sure that doesn't happen again? I mean, do you change the screening process or the background checks? Or
I don't think anybody that comes on this job comes on as a bad person. We do a great job of vetting them out before we hire them.
As you can see, that statement was not entirely accurate. Now, I can understand why a county executive who Psycho Patty investigated and exonerated would appoint him commissioner, especially when that county executive was later found guilty of corruption charges and sent to federal prison for 12 years. And if the allegations of inappropriate relationship with the Nassau County executive Laura Curran are true, I can even understand why she would keep him on as commissioner. But for the life of me, I cannot understand why current county executive Bruce Blakeman continues to keep Psycho Patty on as the police commissioner. I am not a betting man, but if I was, I would bet that Psycho Patty will be leaving his position very shortly.
I don't know if I want to leave. Well, I left, and I left crying like a baby.
Let me know what you think about this one in the comment section below. As always, stay safe. God bless. I'll see you in the next video. Long Island Audit. Peace.
I think last year, one of the other things you came under fire for was transparency in the department, including the person who's exposing themselves in the park. What do you plan to change, or how do you reassure the public that that wouldn't happen again?
In that situation on the transparency, that was on me. I'll take the blame for that. We got caught up between two cases at the same time, and we dropped the ball. So when we dropped the ball on the team, I'm responsible. So I take the responsibility for that. But we made up. We explained exactly why. We are totally transparent. There's nothing to hide from the department. Obviously, evidence in cases and ongoing investigations we can't release. But when it comes to anything that's happened within our department, full disclosure, make sure that we're communicating correctly, both to the press side, to the community, which is very important to us, and to, of course, to our members, too, to let them know what's going on and why.